Social media account with extremist comment could be tied to Trump gunman, FBI says. Now, I find this story actually really fascinating because they're basically saying this guy was anti-Semitic. They say there were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes to espouse political violence and are described as extreme in nature. Now, I want to pause right there and say, wow, anti-immigration? Why would they go after Trump? That's the case. But the real issue here is not that the account exists. It's the story, because we've already heard from Gab about law enforcement requesting information on an account they believe to be the shooter, where he was defending Joe Biden as recently as 2.5 to 3 years ago, about 3 years ago. Now we're getting a story that actually was anti-Semitic and anti-immigration. Meanwhile, the other comments were pro-Biden and defensive of their policies. I'll tell you this. You choose. Good luck, everybody. Good luck figuring it out, because I think, as Shane and I were talking about this weekend, they are flooding the zone with crap so that no one can figure out what is going on.
Well, it's like, oh my goodness, story alone. It was like the gaming account that was initially linked is no longer, and
they don't even know that this account is. They're flooding the zone with garbage.
But not just that. I mean, if the story turns out to be true, these are comments from 2016 when the kid, from 4 years ago, 2020, when the kid was 16. And talk about flooding the field with crap or poisoning the well. You got Christopher Wray comes out last week saying it might have been shrapnel that hit Trump's ear. And then people ran with that story. Now they're going to run with this. And by the time this gets debunked or whatever, and it's already controlled the narrative.
And just to make sure we hit this point, from the hearings today, FBI deputy director says there's never been a doubt that Trump was hit by a bullet, despite Director Wray spreading shrapnel conspiracy. It is intentional. They are trying to make sure. Let me put it this way. Democrats are going to be like, the head of the FBI said that they don't even know if it was a bullet. And then you're going to be like, no, the deputy director says it was. And they're going to be like, what are you talking about? Then you're going to come out and you're going to be like, we had this story from Gab. The Post was pro-Biden. Are you nuts? We got the FBI saying that the guy was anti-Semitic. He was anti-immigration.
The FBI is not saying, like, at least Gab is saying, we are a social media company that has been contacted by the FBI in the wake of this event. Here are screenshots of the messages they have requested. Like, what's so frustrating to me about the FBI is, you know, FBI Director Wray says, well, maybe it was just shrapnel from the teleprompter, which has been disproven over and over again. That night, his press person puts out a statement saying, no, it was definitely a bullet that hit Trump. And then now we have the deputy director saying, oh, no, it was never 100%.
a question.
There's so much internal disarray to the point where it's like, of course, people call for the ending of all of these agencies. They're not functional.
What did you call it? Reality buffet?
Yeah, it's the buffet of reality. It's the offshoot of my post-reality thing, because anything you want to be true, you can just go find to be true.
Yep.
So, you know, it's like, I think of, I forgot who it was online. They shared an image of someone who died, but it wasn't the wrong person. And they chose that image of the Pawn Stars son because they knew people would recognize that son, but the son who actually died wasn't the one on TV. So then everyone believed that post. And then that post was deleted, and now everyone, you know, it's like a Mandela effect happening in real time. People will believe, you know, there was shrapnel, there was a bullet, anything you want.
So where we are now is a liberal will Google search, and if Google's going to send them the sources that they're likely to click on. Mm-hmm. Google's going to say, we're not doing this for politics. The algorithm is sending them what we think they want to see. And what do they want to see? Trump was not shot. Good. And then conservatives. So you're going to be at family dinner. Your liberal aunt's going to come over. She's going to be like, he wasn't even shot. It was glass. And you're going to be like, that's not true.
That's when the buffets clash.
You're going to pull up the story and you're going to go, look at this story. And she's going to go, that's fake. I'm going to pull it up. Then she's going to pull up NPR and go, see? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to be like, good luck proving to your family what's true or what's not. Good luck knowing.
It's why I forget the intelligence thing is, you know, you can't control what people know. You can only control when they know it. And so you'll have the information eventually crystallized. And in the meantime, as far as I'm concerned, Christopher Wray, for what he said last week, should be fired, because if that's not participating in the event, it's participating in the cover-up and the confusion. And by the way, I got another one here. Disarray.
Ha, ha, ha. Look at that.
Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, I'm never having a whiteboard again. But
I just need everyone to know it was wrapped in plastic and not open when he sat down. So he didn't have to pick up this whiteboard.
Oh, but the compulsion drove me. They're beyond corrupt. This is Christopher Wray giving that narrative feed that he needed to change the story. What they did in 2020, intelligence lied about the Hunter Biden laptop story. They suppressed it when Baker was in Twitter. They're doing the exact same thing, mutatis mutatis now. intelligence is lying, and the internet or Google and Meta are censoring.
It actually also reminds me of the Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse's trial, right? There were so many people who believed that he shot 3 black people, and that was never true.
They identified as black, by the way. We now know that.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's not true.
And so when you know, I saw so many social media posts after he was found not guilty of people being like, do not even talk to me about, like, liberals saying, like, don't even talk to me about this. If you think he's not guilty, then I can't, like, hysteria around this thing that, like, they won't even go back and just read the basic facts of the case. They have decided on the narrative. They have decided this person is guilty, and they're not moving forward.
I started thinking about that when people were watching the Rittenhouse video, and 2 people could watch the same video, walk away with completely different interpretations, and we're watching the same exact video.
Well, apparently the Guardian watched the entire trial, and after the conviction, after the acquittal, said he was acquitted of having killed 3 black men at a BLM protest. I mean, this was years after.
Don't know that you watched the trial. That's the thing, though. Like, there are certain things that are concrete. Like with the Butler rally, the teleprompters weren't broken, so it cannot be this glass shrapnel thing.
Is that a whiteboard or a mirror?
That's what I would look like if I ever turned Hasidic, by the way. Now Tim is going to get accused of a great many things.
Amazing.
It's a picture of Viva.
Amazing.
That's what you look. I was looking at you and I drew it.
I like
you can keep it.
Another whiteboard? No.
That's my whiteboard now.
Sign it and snap.
Let's do shirts for you.
No, but I mean, it's all just, I believe these hearings and the way they behave themselves and their smirks. There was a smirk. The guy Abate today had like a Peter Strzok type smirk. It's to provoke people into doing something stupid because they get so enraged listening to this. Oh, and by the way, there was something, apparently Peter Strzok was paid, settled $1.2 million, got a severance package or something. That came up today. And they were asking who in the FBI approved the $1.2 million settlement for Strzok and $800,000 for his lover there, Lisa Page. The FBI tried to frame Trump. The FBI, with authorization for deadly force, raided his Mar-a-Lago place when they had no reason to do it. They want him dead. And so what I've watched now is confirmation of this in real time.
Well, and think about like the Gretchen Whitmer case, like the kidnapping case and how involved FBI was with that. There are so many times that the FBI as an agency acts questionably and it's somehow allowed to just sink back into the shadows.
That's what they're there for.
Working.
That's what they're there for.
Right, but if
to
you
destroy us.
But if you question it, then you're an extremist, right?
I
You're
know.
a conspiracy theorist.
Let's pull up this story from June. It's from Fox's ex-FBI honcho McCabe says Intel community members scared of being jailed by Trump may flee the country. And so the questions I asked when this went down, and I believe you were there, Viva, was, does Trump derangement syndrome exist? The answer, of course it does. There are people who believe fake things about Trump who are insane and scream at the top of their, like, there's nothing that will convince them otherwise. 2, do some of these people want Trump to die? This is a fact. We've seen people on the street ask the question and they wish for it. They post about it. They're getting fired for doing these things. And 3, is it possible some of these people work in intelligence and law enforcement? And the answer to that is yes. And with those things all being true, and a story like this, they may flee the country in fear. Is it possible that someone in law enforcement, someone in some federal capacity who hates Donald Trump, who believes the worst things about him, is terrified of going to jail and wants the worst for Trump, may engage in this untoward behavior?
Let's just operate on the purely hypothetical, exaggerated, hyperbolic assumption that there are people within the FBI who would go to jail if their conduct were revealed through some form of investigation. Those people exist, hands down. Klein Smith, who falsified that document that they submitted to a FISA court, that's the tip of the iceberg. So take for granted there are literally people within the FBI who would go to jail if their conduct was exposed.
I would like to.
What would they do to prevent that?
I would like to see the FBI shattered and scattered into the wind, as they say. But I also
as
think,
JFK said,
right before something happened. But I also believe that if that happens, there will be rogue domestic terrorists now that left the FBI, and they're just waiting to perform violence.
So I do want to get into the Venezuela thing in just a second. It is hard to predict how this all plays out, but I want to stress from the previous segment, Secret Service counter sniper writing that they fear another attempt on Trump's life before November. How have we not redoubled, quadrupled for all people under Secret Service protection? We got to fire these people immediately. We've got to go in and you got to brush, like you're brushing the hair, to straighten it out, get the knots out. You've got bad people who don't know how to run this ship. Whether intentionally or otherwise, there are serious problems, and there's a real threat to the lives of even people we may not politically agree with. And I will stress, all of us here, and I would say every single person watching, wants the best for Kamala Harris. We want her to retire peacefully after she loses, and she can go and dance with Megan Thee Stallion and do whatever it is she's going to do.
Cackle into the sunset.
Absolutely. And Joe Biden can sit in a rocking chair with his grandkids as they're playing his grandkids are probably in their 40s or something.
The grandkids that he acknowledges or the ones that he doesn't? They won't play with him.
I'm just saying, like,
hanging out in the pool.
I hope that we get a Trump victory. Trump brings us a marginally good administration. It's not going to be dictator, iron fist, Project 2025 Donald Trump, because Project 2025 doesn't even prescribe these things. Donald Trump's going to appoint some moderately bad people. We're going to get some decently good policy. Economy will probably improve a little bit. Border security will be a little bit better. We'll wind down some of these wars, and we'll be marginally satisfied. And I hope that's what we get. We are not going to get Iron Fist Trump going and arresting people. There's not going to be military tribunals. None of that's going to happen. And so I hope
don't really see him throwing agents in jail.
Absolutely not.
I don't really. I mean, McCabe's clearly overreacting because he was also a former agent that was in the crosshairs, and he just got a nice.
He's talking about
deal,
himself.
A nice network deal. He's doing just fine.
Tim, I sent it to you. I mean, former FBI official Peter Strzok reaches $1.2 million settlement with Justice Department over Trump-related texts. Former FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok, he reached a $1.2 million, claims that the department violated his policy. They paid him $1.2 million. This is where it's another act of provocation. They paid him $1.2 million because he said they violated his privacy by revealing the fact that he was talking about an insurance policy against a Trump presidency that he never wanted to see. It's freaking bizarro universe.
You know, Cheadle's going to get a deal after this too. She's going to get some job, some nice.
Maybe a book deal.
Definitely a book deal. Maybe a Netflix
I assume
deal.
she's going back to what, like Frito-Lay or whatever she was doing before.
Right. There's a joke in there that I will not make, but she'll get a lifetime supply of Pepsi and Cheetos.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.